What's good? It's Woog. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. Well, the secret is now out. If you didn't know, Nilufer Yanya, before this new album, Painless, just released, you are about to know. And you kind of saw the storm brewing with this last album of hers from 2019 called Miss Universe. It was her full debut album. She had a couple EPs before that. She had Plant Feed from 2017, Small Crimes from 2016. So it was kind of bubbling into an eventual debut album, and that came 2019. Well, 3 years later, here we are with Painless. And, you know, she, by the end of her Miss Universe release, was doing a couple of the night shows, you know, the late shows, playing to those TV audiences. But with this one, not only was she like the top of Pitchfork's, 6 albums that you need to hear this Friday of releases, but now she's 2 for 2 in terms of having Metacritic kind of aggregate her album scores to achieving greater than 80. 80 is usually like the threshold for a very good album because it aggregates all of the different major and some of the minor publications and just combines all of the scores, and then it'll give you your Metacritic score. With Miss Universe, she hit 85, and now with Painless, she hit 82. That's usually a real good indication that the music industry establishment, the critics, that they're embracing you and your craft. So she's 2 for 2. Yeah, I mean, even very good artists fluctuate. You see some excellent, household names get like 60 and below sometimes. But if you're trying to get on and you're trying to assert yourself in the music industry, it certainly helps to have big time acclaim and have your album reviewed and rated very well. So she followed up Miss Universe, a by all measures critically successful album, with yet another one in Painless. And this is a very different album from Miss Universe. When I first heard her music, I had, put a lot of the songs from her album on a shuffle before I listened to the album in its entirety. So I'd be listening to, just cross genre, all kinds of music. I'd be listening to anything from 90s hip hop to 70s classic rock, you name it. And, all of a sudden there would be like a song and it would catch my attention. I would go look at it. Oh, Nilufer Yanya, having trouble with the pronunciation. And then, days later, another song that sounded totally different from the last song that I heard would come on, and I'd check it out like, damn, oh, Nilufer Yanya, that same artist who just had that. And so then I said, okay, let me just sit down and listen to this whole thing. And, Miss Universe, like, it was theme-based conceptually. It was a mental health-ish related album. Give it a listen. It, has like this fictitious, station that's supposed to be like a helpline in terms of getting its WWAY Health was like the name of the helpline. And it was We Worry About Your, that's the acronym, WWAY Health. And then it leads right into the first song. And that first song, called In Your Head, it had a very like 90s alternative rock feel to where I'm like, whoo, like this is not something that I'm, hearing that frequently right now, sounding this good in the verses build up to the choruses. And so by the time she's singing, all in your head, I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And then it takes so many different style and genre turns throughout the album to where I feel like I didn't get that alternative rock sound again for the rest of the album. But there were a lot of good songs that I would, classify maybe bedroom pop or dream pop, even kind of jazz pop. Like, it was kind of like a lot softer than that intro track, In Your Head. The other songs that I liked were like Angels, Baby Blue, Melt. Very soft, and, the lyrics are kind of cutting. So it's juxtaposing these kind of harsh lyrics with this very soft sound, and it just kind of made for a very interesting listen. And so I really liked the album. In fact, I went and saw her concert at the Lodge Room. I met her afterwards. I even bought my girl a Miss Universe t-shirt, which, by the way, like, this is the only print on the Miss Universe t-shirt, and there's nothing on the back of it. So this was like the merch, and I'm thinking, if you're trying to like promote yourself and promote your artist name, then, if somebody is walking around with a Miss Universe t-shirt on, it could be anything. So anybody who sees you has no idea that this is even music related, let alone it's an album by an artist named Nilufer Yanya. So kind of maybe a missed opportunity marketing wise, unless the point was to have, no references to the artist name, I didn't get it. But, I was definitely glad to support. I really liked the album. The performance was very good as well. She did perform In Your Head, obviously, and which would also be the song that she was performing on those late shows at the time. But yeah, it went from that kind of garage rock or alternative rock to that softer dream pop, bedroom pop, for most of the rest of that Miss Universe album. But on this Painless album, I feel like she does a lot more of the harder rock, where there's more moments of kind of crescendo musical builds where you're kind of getting like a cacophony of guitar sound. You have a lot more moments of that in Painless, and I really enjoyed this album. And it's too early for me to tell which one I like more between Miss Universe and Painless, but some of the standout tracks were the opening track, The Dealer, Shameless. It's probably my favorite song on the album. It kind of serves as the title track. Even though the song's called Shameless, the album's called Painless, but she references the word painless in Shameless, it kind of works as a title track, and it's my favorite song on the album. Stabilize, I liked a lot. Midnight Sun, Try, Another Life. I know Belong With You is probably gonna emerge as one of the favorites. It wasn't one of my favorites, Belong With You, but that was kind of like a more of a pop rock ballad. But yeah, again, Stabilize, Shameless, The Dealer, Midnight Sun were a few of my favorites. Very good album. Again, she kind of brings it back, to the rockier side of her. And, in interviews, she's talked about being miscategorized, and nobody really was considering her a rock artist after Miss Universe. They were saying, pop, jazz pop, and even R&B, which R&B, and, she feels the same way, was kind of an unfair characterization, and I look at it as a lazy labeling. And I think that she is only kind of being denied the indie rock tag, largely because she's not a white artist. Indie has kind of been something that's been perceived to be, some of the quirkier, experimental-ish, or just straight up rock. But, rock is more of a niche genre today than it was 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. But you've kind of just pictured that, Belle and Sebastian, or, you name it. Just you picture your favorite indie band, and they probably don't look like Nilufer Yanya. But, I mean, she's a mixed artist, but I think that that's why she wasn't, by default, being labeled an indie artist, let alone a rock artist. But the rock leanings on Painless are undeniable, to where I think that she is going to start to be moved more so into that category. Even though, as I said, on Miss Universe, and even to a lesser degree on Painless, but on Miss Universe, there were a lot of dream pop, bedroom pop, which is still under that indie umbrella. Indie includes like alternative rock these days, shoegaze, folk rock, and yes, dream pop as well. So yeah, again, I don't know which I prefer between these two, but 2 for 2 in terms of getting the critical acclaim is exactly where you want to be in terms of your career trajectory. And the level of exposure that she's getting with this latest album is just going to further launch her notoriety-wise, which is why I started the video saying The Secret is now out. I feel like, I'd seen her Instagram, following go from like the 8,000s to 9 to 10,000s, early 14,000s, now to 40,000+. And you saw how much it started to ramp up when this Painless album was, reviewed again by Pitchfork, and it got like a 8 point something, right? And it just seemed like it just started to build even more following wise, to where she quickly just ran through like the mid 30s, and now again she's like at 40,000+ followers, and expect that to continue to go up in the coming days and weeks as well. But she's in a very good spot in terms of that, and also Spotify's algorithm seems to be greatly favoring her music just more and more. It's really kind of spotlit a lot of the songs from this Painless album on a lot of its playlists. So again, I think that it's just going to be a groundswell of gradual attention paid towards her. I know she's going to be performing at Coachella as well. But yeah, where she is today after this Painless album release isn't where she was just after the Miss Universe release. By the way, when I went to that show of hers at the Lodge Room, I had gotten the vinyl, right? Miss Universe, and you know, that's where she had signed it. Now, I had actually left the vinyl in the back of the car for like some time, so it ended up, you know, coming out like super like warped. Like, check that out. Like, that is what the vinyl was looking like when I was like, damn, I left this, you know, album in the back. So my girl for my birthday, Christmas, it's like one day apart, actually got me a new Miss Universe album, and I haven't opened it from the packaging yet, but the vinyl inside probably isn't warped like this one. So yeah, another Miss Universe album. But Painless appears to be a success. I expect it to be on some of the year ends, you know, best albums of 2022 lists. So yeah, if you haven't listened to any Nilufer Yanya, give it a listen. Whether you're into, you know, alternative rock, whether you're into kind of that softer, you know, jazzy pop style music, give it a listen. It's pretty versatile and interesting. Listen to the lyrics as well. It's going to be very enjoyable. Again, she talks a lot about mental health, and it's, you know, pretty deep lyrics, and it's very cutting as well. And again, I don't know if she was categorized, where she was categorized, and not as a rock artist. Also, because she kind of has like a baby face. Like, I don't know, like maybe the harshness of her music and the rockiness, the edge, wasn't being taken as seriously as I believe it's about to be in the wake of this Painless release. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you have heard it, what are some of your favorite songs from this? What are some of your favorite songs from Miss Universe? Her sound has, you know, kind of been likened to King Cruel. I was hearing some King Cruel vibes, not just because of the accent or just the broody nature, and she kind of has like the, you know, it's a voice deeper than she looks like she could produce. But yeah, I was kind of hearing some King Cruel. I've heard her compared to Susie and the Banshees, Parquet Courts. I don't know if I agree with those last two as much, but I've heard her compared to them, The Breeders. But yeah, give it a listen. Please leave your comments in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.